Have you noticed your legs feeling heavier lately, even though you're eating healthy and staying active like you've been told to? Maybe climbing a simple set of stairs leaves you short of breath, or standing up from a chair takes more effort than it used to. It's frustrating when your body doesn't respond the way it once did. Most people assume it's just part of getting older. But what if the real reason your legs are growing weaker has nothing to do with age and everything to do with a few everyday habits that seem harmless, even healthy? In this video, we're going to uncover 5 common fruits that may quietly be working against your strength, especially if you're over 60. You'll also discover smarter, more supportive choices that can help you feel stronger, lighter, and more stable on your feet. If you've ever felt tired after walking just a short distance, or wondered why your legs ache for no clear reason, I invite you to stay with me. This information might be the turning point you've been searching for. Feel free to share your experience in the comments. And if this speaks to you, like the video and subscribe for more practical ways to stay strong and healthy as you age. 1. Pineapple. The anti-inflammatory paradox. For years, pineapple has been praised as a miracle fruit. It's bright, juicy, and packed with a substance called bromelain, which many believe helps reduce inflammation. It shows up in smoothies, fruit salads, and health blogs, often labeled as a natural way to fight swelling and support healing. So it's easy to assume that eating pineapple is always a good choice, especially as we get older. But there's a side to this tropical fruit that most people never hear about. And if you're over 60, it might be time to look at it differently. Because the very thing that makes pineapple feel refreshing could be making your legs feel tired, swollen, or even painful over time. Let's start with the sugar. Just 1 cup of pineapple contains around 16 grams of sugar. It may be natural sugar, but it still hits your bloodstream fast. And for older adults whose blood vessels are often more fragile, and whose circulation may already be slower, that quick spike can be a problem. It puts pressure on the tiny vessels in your legs and feet, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your muscles. Over time, this leads to fatigue, cramping, and a feeling of heaviness that doesn't go away with rest. Now think about how often you might snack on pineapple without a second thought. Maybe in the afternoon, after a walk. Maybe with breakfast, as part of a fruit bowl. It seems innocent. But if you're already feeling weaker in your legs or noticing swelling in your feet after meals, this could be one of the hidden reasons. It doesn't stop at sugar. Pineapple also contains acids that, while harmless for younger bodies, can irritate older joints and tissues. The same bromelain that's promoted for healing can sometimes act like fuel to an already burning fire. If you've been dealing with arthritis, knee discomfort, or dull aches in your hips, pineapple might be making things worse without you realizing it. A recent study pointed out that older adults are more sensitive to foods with high acid content. The lining of the stomach becomes thinner with age. Digestion slows down. Inflammation becomes easier to trigger. And unfortunately, the signs are not always obvious. It might just feel like waking up stiff, or feeling a strange tightness in your calves after sitting for a while. You might chalk it up to age, when in reality something you're eating every week could be quietly contributing to the problem. There's also a lesser-known concern when it comes to medication. If you're on blood thinners or medications for circulation, pineapple could interfere. Bromelain has been shown to increase the effects of certain medications, which might sound helpful at first. But too much interaction can lead to unexpected side effects, including bruising, slower healing, or increased bleeding risk. If your legs bruise easily or take longer to recover after small injuries, this might be a sign your diet and medications aren't working well together. This doesn't mean pineapple is poison. It's still a nutritious fruit with real benefits. But after a certain age, moderation becomes more important than ever. Your body has changed, and the way it handles certain foods has changed too. What once supported recovery might now be slowing it down. If you've been eating pineapple regularly and noticing discomfort in your legs, consider making a small shift. You don't need to cut it out completely. Just reduce the frequency. Choose a smaller portion, and try pairing it with a meal instead of eating it alone. Even better, explore gentler alternatives that support circulation without the extra sugar and acid. Ripe papaya is a great choice. Blueberries are another. Both are lower in sugar and naturally help reduce inflammation. Remember, your legs carry you through life. Every step you take depends on strong muscles, healthy joints, and good blood flow. The foods you choose each day are not just about taste. They are your body's building blocks. And sometimes the key to feeling lighter, stronger, and more stable isn't about doing more. It's about choosing differently. So the next time you reach for pineapple, take a moment. Ask yourself how your body feels after you eat it. Tune in. You might discover that a small change brings more comfort than you expected. 2. Bananas. Not always muscle food. Bananas have long been considered a symbol of healthy eating. They're quick, convenient, and full of potassium, which we're told helps keep our muscles working well. For many people, a banana in the morning or after a walk feels like a smart choice. It's natural. It gives energy. It must be good for you, right? But if you're over 60 and starting to feel like your legs are heavier, your joints more tired, or your energy drops quicker than before, bananas might not be helping the way you think. In fact, for some older adults they may quietly be part of the problem. One medium banana contains around 23 grams of carbohydrates, most of which come from natural sugars. That may not seem like much, but the speed at which your body absorbs that sugar matters more than you might realize. When you eat a banana on its own, especially on an empty stomach, your blood sugar can spike quickly, and as we age, our ability to manage those spikes tends to weaken. Your muscles, especially in your legs, rely on steady circulation to stay strong. Rapid changes in blood sugar can interfere with that process. Over time, you might start noticing that your legs feel sluggish after breakfast, or that walking up a few steps feels more tiring than it should. You may not connect that to what you ate, but food plays a bigger role in circulation than most people think. There's also the issue of water retention. Bananas are known to support hydration, but in people who already have heart conditions or take diuretics, the effect can sometimes go too far. The body may hold on to extra fluid, especially in the lower limbs. That can lead to mild swelling around the ankles, stiffness after sitting, or a tight feeling in the calves when you stand for too long. It's a frustrating cycle. You eat something healthy, hoping it will give you strength, but instead you feel weighed down. That doesn't mean bananas are bad. It just means your body may not need them the way it used to. One of the most common mistakes is thinking that more is better. 2 bananas a day. A banana with breakfast. A banana in a smoothie. It adds up fast. And if you're also eating other high-carb foods in the same meal, your blood sugar stays on a roller coaster that your body no longer rides as easily. The good news is you don't have to give them up completely. You just need to adjust how and when you eat them. Start by reducing the portion. Half a banana might be enough. And instead of eating it by itself, try combining it with something that slows down sugar absorption. A small handful of walnuts. A spoonful of natural peanut butter. A slice of cheese. These healthy fats and proteins can help balance the way your body processes sugar. Timing also matters. Avoid eating bananas first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That's when your blood sugar is most sensitive. If you enjoy them, try having them as part of a larger meal, not as a solo snack. It's also worth considering alternatives, especially if you've been feeling weaker or less steady on your feet. Ripe papaya is easier on the digestive system and lower in sugar. Berries like blueberries or raspberries are full of antioxidants and fiber, which can help reduce inflammation and support circulation. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. Your body is doing its best to keep you moving, to keep you strong. And small changes like this are not about restriction. They're about giving your body the right kind of fuel for the stage of life you're in now. Think about the difference in how your legs feel after a meal. If you often notice a heaviness or slow recovery from activity, your food may be part of the story. Listening to those signals is a powerful form of self-care. Bananas served you well for many years, but now your needs have shifted. That's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. Making a simple shift today might be the step that brings more lightness, more strength, and more confidence with every move you make. 3. Grapes. The sweet but sneaky culprit. Grapes are one of those fruits that feel almost too easy to love. They're small, sweet, and refreshing. You can snack on them straight from the fridge, toss them into a salad, or add them to a fruit bowl. They seem like the perfect guilt-free treat, especially if you're trying to eat cleaner or cut down on processed sugar. But if your legs have been aching more than usual, if you've felt stiffness in your knees or pain in your toes without any clear reason, grapes might be playing a quiet role in the background. As we age, our bodies process sugar differently. Even natural sugar, like the kind found in grapes, can have a very real effect. Grapes contain a type of sugar called fructose. It's natural, but when consumed in large amounts, it can overwhelm the liver. The excess gets converted into fat and a substance called uric acid. And that's where the trouble begins. Uric acid tends to collect in the joints, especially in the smaller areas like toes, ankles, and knees. This buildup can lead to painful conditions like gout or chronic joint inflammation. If you've ever felt a sudden sharp pain in your big toe at night, or a dull throb in your knees after a calm day, it's not just aging. It could be your body's way of saying something isn't quite right inside. Now think about how easy it is to eat grapes. Because they're bite-sized and light, we often eat far more than we realize. A handful while watching TV, a bowl after dinner, another cup while prepping lunch. Before you know it, you've consumed a large amount of sugar without even feeling full. That's the danger with grapes. They don't feel heavy, but their impact can be. It's also important to know that fructose doesn't just affect your joints. It's been linked to low-grade inflammation throughout the body. That includes the connective tissues that keep your legs steady and flexible. Over time, this can make it harder to move freely, to bend, or to walk without discomfort. If you've been feeling more unsteady or slower than usual, your diet might be contributing more than you think. This doesn't mean you need to cut out grapes forever. It just means being more mindful. If you enjoy them, reduce the portion. Instead of eating a bowl, try a small handful. And avoid eating grapes every single day. Give your body a chance to reset. Pay attention to how your legs and joints feel after a few days without them. You might be surprised at how quickly things change. There are also better alternatives that offer sweetness without the same risks. Berries, like strawberries or blueberries, are naturally lower in sugar and packed with anti-inflammatory compounds. They support joint health and help your circulation instead of working against it. Tart cherries are another great option, especially if you've been dealing with arthritis or muscle tightness. They've been shown to help reduce inflammation and ease pain. Remember, your body is incredibly smart. It keeps sending signals, even if they're subtle. That tightness in your calves, that ache in your ankles after sitting, the stiffness in your knees when you get out of bed. These are messages. And one of the kindest things you can do is start listening to them. Food isn't just fuel. It's a daily choice that shapes how we move, how we age, and how we feel in our own bodies. Grapes might have once been the perfect snack, but if they're no longer working in your favor, it's okay to make a change. That change doesn't need to feel like a loss. It can be a quiet gift you give to your future self. You deserve legs that feel light and strong again. You deserve mornings without stiffness and evenings without pain. Sometimes, all it takes is one shift in what you put on your plate to begin moving in that direction. Let your next handful of fruit be one that brings you closer to ease, not further away from it. 4. Watermelon. The hydration illusion. Watermelon feels like the perfect fruit. It's light, refreshing, and full of water. On hot days, nothing seems more satisfying than a cold slice after a walk or with your lunch. It tastes clean and healthy. And for years, we've believed that watermelon is a smart way to stay hydrated and support overall health. But for older adults, especially those dealing with tired legs or joint discomfort, watermelon may not be as harmless as it appears. Most people don't realize that watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it causes your blood sugar to rise quickly, even though it's low in calories. For someone in their 20s, the body usually handles these sugar spikes without much issue. But after 60, your body becomes more sensitive. Insulin responses may slow down. Circulation in the legs and feet can become weaker. And small changes in blood sugar start to affect how you feel. You may have noticed that your legs feel more swollen or heavy after a meal with watermelon. Maybe your ankles are puffier in the evening. Or there's a tightness in your knees when you try to stand up. These may seem like small things, easy to ignore. But over time they build up. And what looks like a healthy snack could be quietly adding to inflammation and circulation problems in your lower body. It's easy to overeat watermelon. Because it's mostly water, it doesn't fill you up. A few slices can turn into half a plate without even noticing. The sugar content adds up fast, and with it comes a rise in blood sugar that your body has to work hard to control. If you're already dealing with joint issues, arthritis, or poor blood flow, those spikes can lead to more swelling, discomfort, and even fatigue in your legs. One hidden challenge with watermelon is how it interacts with other foods. Many people eat it right after a meal, especially in summer. But if that meal already included starches like bread, rice, or pasta, the watermelon's sugar can push your insulin even higher. That creates a perfect storm for inflammation. You might not feel the effects right away, but the next morning your knees ache, your legs feel stiff, and your balance feels just a little off. This pattern is common but not often talked about. Because watermelon seems so light, we rarely question it. But if your legs feel tired after a day of light activity, or if you're waking up at night with cramps or tingling in your feet, it's worth considering how watermelon might be playing a role. It doesn't have to be the only reason, but for some people, it's the missing piece in the puzzle. Again, this isn't about cutting out all the foods you enjoy. Watermelon can still have a place in your life, but awareness is key. If you want to keep enjoying it, try having a smaller portion. Eat it at the end of a full meal instead of as a snack on its own. And never eat watermelon on an empty stomach. That's when the sugar hits the fastest. And that's when your legs might feel the effects most clearly. There are also other fruits that are just as refreshing but gentler on your system. Pears are naturally sweet but lower in sugar, and don't cause the same spikes. Ripe papaya is soft, soothing, and easier to digest. Both support hydration and healing without the roller coaster that watermelon can trigger. Your legs have carried you through a lifetime of steps, choices, and experiences. They deserve support, not stress. And every small choice matters. What you eat, when you eat, and how it makes you feel all come together to shape your energy, your balance, and your freedom of movement. If you've been feeling a little slower, a little heavier, or unsure of why your joints are acting up, it's okay to pause and rethink some familiar habits. Watermelon might seem like a safe choice, but for your body today there could be better options. Listening to your body is not about giving things up. It's about giving yourself something better. You deserve to move through each day with strength and clarity. And sometimes that starts with the simplest change on your plate. 5. Oranges. Not so innocent morning ritual. For many people, oranges are the picture of health. They're bright, sweet, and packed with vitamin C. A glass of orange juice in the morning has long been seen as the perfect way to start the day. It feels fresh, familiar, and comforting. But if you're over 60 and beginning to feel more stiffness in your joints, unexplained aches in your legs, or general fatigue after light activity, it may be time to look closer at this everyday habit. The problem isn't just the sugar in oranges, though that's part of it. It's the combination of sugar and acid. Oranges are rich in citric acid, which gives them that signature tangy flavor. For younger bodies, this acid is processed with little trouble. But as we age, the stomach lining becomes thinner and more sensitive. Digestive strength decreases. And foods high in acid can start to irritate not just the gut, but also the tissues and other parts of the body. You may have noticed that your knees feel tight in the morning, or that your hips are sore after sitting for a while. Perhaps your legs feel heavy after a day when you didn't even walk that much. These sensations are easy to dismiss. Many people blame aging. But inflammation often starts quietly, and the acid-sugar combination in oranges can quietly make things worse over time. Orange juice is especially tricky. Even a small glass contains around 20 grams of natural sugar, with little fiber to slow it down. When you drink it on an empty stomach, as many people do in the morning, the sugar enters your bloodstream quickly. That sudden spike can lead to a crash later, making you feel tired, foggy, or unsteady. Over time, those ups and downs take a toll on blood vessels, especially the small ones that supply your legs and joints with oxygen and nutrients. If you're already dealing with poor circulation, arthritis, or bone loss, the effects can be more noticeable. The acid can increase sensitivity in joints that are already inflamed. The sugar can worsen swelling in your ankles or make it harder for sore muscles to recover after movement. And if you have a history of sciatica or osteoporosis, these reactions can slowly chip away at your comfort and strength. Still, oranges themselves are not the enemy. The key is how you consume them and how often. Instead of starting your day with orange juice, Try having a few slices of a whole orange with breakfast, not before it. The fiber in the fruit helps slow sugar absorption and reduces the sharp rise in blood sugar. And if you're already noticing stiffness or leg discomfort, consider reducing the number of days you include citrus altogether. There are gentler alternatives that still offer flavor and hydration without the acid load. Ripe papaya is naturally low in acid and packed with enzymes that help soothe the digestion. Pears are another great choice. They provide sweetness and fiber without overwhelming your system. Both fruits are easier on aging joints and can actually support circulation rather than disrupt it. This might sound like a small change. It is. But over time, these adjustments can shift how your body feels throughout the day. Imagine waking up without that familiar ache in your hips. Imagine walking without feeling like your legs are dragging behind you. These changes are possible, and they often begin not with major overhauls, but with rethinking something as simple as what you eat in the morning. You've trusted your routine for a long time, but your body is changing and it's asking you to listen. If something that once gave you energy is now leaving you with discomfort or instability, it's not a failure. It's a sign, and responding to that sign doesn't mean giving up the foods you love. It means adjusting in a way that supports the life you want to keep living. You deserve mornings that feel strong and clear. You deserve to move through your day with less pain and more ease. If oranges have become part of a routine that no longer serves you, it's okay to try something new. You might be surprised by how different your legs feel after just a few weeks of making that choice. Let your body guide you. It's always speaking. And when you listen, you give yourself the chance to feel your best, one step at a time. For most of our lives, we've been taught a simple rule. Eat more fruit. It's healthy, it's natural, and it's always a good choice. But what no one tells you is that your body at 60 doesn't function the same way it did at 30. The foods that once gave you energy and strength may now affect you in ways you never expected. You may be trying your best to follow good advice, choosing fruit over snacks, drinking juice instead of soda, avoiding processed food. And still, your legs feel weak. Your joints ache. You get tired more quickly than before. That can feel confusing, even discouraging. But it's not your fault. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. Your body is wiser now. It's more sensitive, more reactive. And it needs a different kind of care. Not less food. Not stricter diets. Just more thoughtful choices based on where you are today, not where you were years ago. This shift in thinking is not about fear or guilt. It's about respect. Respect for how far your body has carried you. Respect for the messages it's sending you now. That heaviness in your legs is not weakness. It's information. That stiffness in the morning is not failure. It's a reminder to look more closely at how your habits are shaping your days. You deserve clarity. You deserve to know how your body responds to the foods you trust. And you deserve to make decisions that are based on truth, not outdated assumptions. This is not about giving things up. It's about reclaiming what matters most: comfort, strength, freedom, the ability to move with confidence and energy through your day. Let this be the moment you see things differently. Not through the lens of what used to work, but through the lens of what your body is asking for now. Because when you start listening, when you choose with care, you begin to feel stronger, steadier, and more alive than you thought possible. That shift is within reach. And it begins with something as simple as looking at your plate with new eyes. The fruits we've talked about today are ones most of us have trusted for years. But as your body changes with age, what once worked well might now be holding you back. If your legs feel heavier, your joints more sensitive, or your energy lower than it used to be, don't ignore those signs. They're not just aging. They're your body asking for new support. The good news is, you have more control than you think. Small changes in your daily choices can protect your strength, your stability, and your freedom to move with ease. You deserve to feel light, steady, and confident again. If anything in this video resonated with you, take a moment to share your story in the comments. Someone else might need to hear it. And if this gave you a new perspective, like the video and subscribe for more guidance on staying strong and healthy in this next chapter of life. You're not alone on this path.